You know, history rarely pivots exactly when and how we expect it to. In the closing moments of the 2016 United States presidential election, the global consensus was completely shattered by what political historians now formally recognize as, quote, one of the biggest political upsets in American history. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're putting aside all the partisan noise to conduct an objective, clinical deconstruction of a defining political moment. We're going to map the exact architecture of an unprecedented victory using raw data, academic research, and the historical record to understand exactly how the political blueprint was fundamentally rewritten. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. The Election Night Shock, November 8, 2016. Picture the scene. The mood in the country was incredibly tense. Heading into Election Day, predictive models gave Hillary Clinton an overwhelming, greater than 90% chance of victory. The establishment, the media, the pollsters, they were all looking at the exact same map. But, as we now know, they were missing a structural shift that had literally been building for decades. Part 2, Building the Brand. Let's rewind the clock. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that to find the root of that shift, we actually have to look away from Washington and rewind all the way to 1987. Donald Trump's breakthrough book, The Art of the Deal, coined this exact phrase, truthful hyperbole. It was described as an innocent form of exaggeration and an incredibly effective form of promotion. And this wasn't just a passing thought either. It was the DNA of a master marketer figuring out exactly how to captivate an audience. Part 3, America's Boss and the Power of Entertainment Media. According to some absolutely fascinating research published in the American Political Science Review, entertainment media can have massive, totally unrecognized political consequences. For 12 years, the hit television show The Apprentice broadcasted a highly curated image directly into American living rooms. Week after week, Trump was framed not as a politician, but as America's boss, a successful businessman, a savvy negotiator, and a tough but supportive mentor. And the sheer scale of this exposure just cannot be overstated. To put that into perspective, at its peak, The Apprentice was drawing over 20 million viewers. We all know Americans consume far more entertainment than they do news, right? So this wasn't a standard 30-second political ad. This was a decade-long, masterfully produced narrative establishing a distinct persona right in the public consciousness. So, here's where the research connects the dots directly to the 2016 upset. Entertainment media provided a deluge of uncontested, seemingly apolitical considerations. Because viewers weren't watching a tense political debate, their guard was completely down. This allowed Trump to build a one-sided personal bond with future voters, which provided the public credibility necessary to secure his advantage and absolutely dominate the 2016 Republican primaries. Part 4. The Unconventional Campaign. Rewriting the Rules. With the nominations secured, the general election shifted into a high-stakes battle of starkly contrasting messages. Clinton utilized slogans like "Stronger Together" and "I'm with her," focusing heavily on unity and steady experience. Trump, on the other hand, leaned entirely into raw, populist appeal with "Make America Great Again," running a fierce anti-establishment campaign. Basically, one message was complex and coalition-based, while the other was a direct, emotional anchor. And their dedication to that emotional anchor led to one of the most unconventional budget allocations in modern political history. Get this. The Trump campaign actually spent more money manufacturing those iconic red "Make America Great Again" hats than they did on traditional polling, or even political consultants. It was a brilliant grassroots, merchandise-driven strategy that turned everyday supporters into walking billboards. And this brilliantly illustrates why they didn't need to spend as much on traditional television advertising. Because of his controversial rallies and blunt rhetoric, Trump absolutely dominated the fast-moving news cycle. A 2018 study showed that Trump received nearly $2 billion in free media coverage. I mean, that is more than double his next closest competitor. His polling surge was almost certainly driven by this relentless wall-to-wall media focus. Part 5. The Blue Wall Crumbles. The Deciding Votes. All of those decades of brand building finally culminated on election night in the traditionally Democratic Rust Belt, which was supposed to be Hillary Clinton's firewall. Just look at how the shock unfolded in real time. 8 p.m., models are still predicting a Clinton victory. 10 p.m., margins in key swing states start tightening dramatically. 2:30 a.m., the Associated Press officially calls Wisconsin for Trump. And by 3 a.m., the dominoes fall. Donald Trump crosses the 270 Electoral College vote threshold.
So the crucial point is this seemingly impossible tiny number. In an election involving over 128 million voters across the country, the entire course of American history was altered by fewer than 80,000 combined votes. It was a razor-thin margin driven by a rightward shift of the white working class and some incredibly pivotal crossover voters. Those 80,000 deciding votes were distributed surgically across Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. These three states constituted the crumbling blue wall, delivering a massive 46 electoral votes directly to the Trump campaign and completely bypassing the national popular vote metrics. Which brings us to the stark reality of the final data. Let this sink in. Hillary Clinton won the nationwide popular vote by a significant margin, nearly 2.9 million votes. Yet, through the specific mechanics of the Electoral College, Donald Trump secured 304 votes to Clinton's 227. It was only the fifth time in American history that the winning candidate lost the popular vote, cementing it as an unprecedented upset that defied literally every traditional expectation.
The 2016 election wasn't just a battle of policies, was it? It was a massive collision between traditional political machinery and the overwhelming, undeniable power of modern media and personal branding. It leaves us staring at a fundamentally transformed landscape today. As you consider the mechanics of this upset we've explored, I want you to ask yourself, how has entertainment media permanently altered the blueprint for American politics? Thank you so much for watching this explainer. Keep questioning the data, and we'll see you next time.